Welcome to Bitcoin 10000001. By the end of this video, you will have the answer to 3 questions. What is Bitcoin? Why do so many people think it has value? And what is this title supposed to mean? So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a new form of money. And when we talk about rabbit holes, this could be our first tangent because we could just go, well, what's money? However, in this case, when we say a new form of money, what we mean is that Bitcoin is specifically new because it is created with computer code. So it's purely digital. So what does this computer code money look like? Well, this code creates a ledger. And you can visualize this ledger like a classic spreadsheet. And there's a list of addresses and how much of this asset, Bitcoin, each address owns. And you can see some other things like when that address was created and how many transactions that address has made and where the Bitcoin got to that address from in the first place. Because anybody can see this ledger, and that's why they say it's semi-private. Because these addresses could be anybody on Earth. We don't know who they are unless they advertise it, and then you know who they are. And so when you own Bitcoin, or somebody you know owns Bitcoin, what they actually own is an address on this ledger, because all Bitcoin on Earth exists on this ledger and nowhere else. When you access your Bitcoin from your phone or your computer, that's just a pointer or a key to your address on this one specific ledger. And when you send Bitcoin either to a friend across the table or somebody all the way across the earth, all you're doing is sending from your address on this one ledger to another address on this one specific ledger. And whoever's receiving the Bitcoin is just accessing their address through their phone from wherever they happen to be in the world. And so this one specific ledger is the Bitcoin ledger. It's all inclusive and exclusive. It only recognizes itself. And this ledger in its entire history exists inside an airtight vacuum. So you couldn't just come on the internet and punch some number into this ledger, because this ledger is protected by the Bitcoin network, a vast network of hundreds of thousands of computers all over the world, working together voluntarily to make sure that this ledger is airtight, secure, distributed, and there's no single point of attack and no single point of failure. And this network, these computers, some are miners, some are nodes, this Bitcoin network's computing power is roughly 1,000,000 times more powerful than the next most powerful supercomputer on Earth. But then you have to ask yourself, why? That's a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of people, and a lot of work. Why would these people voluntarily do this? And that's because we understand that Bitcoin is money. Real estate on that ledger has value because it's scarce. See, there's not some infinite number of Bitcoin that ledger is going to track. There's only 21 million full Bitcoin that will ever exist. 19 million already exist today, and it'll take about 100 years for the next 2 million to appear. So most of it is already available and on the market, and I would say it's undervalued because the market is 7.9 billion people on Earth, because Bitcoin is a world currency. And the internet's available all over the world, and the Bitcoin network is distributed all over the world. And then you say, hold on a second. Why would all these people adopt Bitcoin in the first place? And even if they did, how are you going to split 21 million of something between 7.9 billion or even 1 billion people? And to that I say Bitcoin is highly divisible. 1 Bitcoin goes back 8 decimal places. So 0.0000001 Bitcoin is in fact 1 Satoshi. You can think of it like a penny. And so the Satoshi is the smallest unit of a Bitcoin. It goes back 8 decimal places. And so 1 full Bitcoin is actually 100 million Satoshi. And if you own 0.01 Bitcoin, you own 1,000,000 Satoshi. You'll be a Satoshi millionaire. So when someone like me talks about buying Bitcoin, what we're talking about most of the time is not a full Bitcoin, 100 million Satoshi. See, I'm just getting a few sats. That's what we call them, sats. That's the short word. So we'll say we're stacking sats or collecting Satoshi. We're collecting real estate on this ledger. But I still haven't said why this real estate is so valuable. And the answer is because Bitcoin has made sending money across the internet as easy and efficient as sending information. And trying to describe how massive that is like trying to go back in time and tell someone in 1997 how massive the internet of information would be and how it would change everything about how humans communicate on Earth. But now it's happening with money, payments, transactions, faster, cheaper, better, digital. And in terms of numbers, the adoption today of Bitcoin is about where the internet was in 1997. So if you think you're late, I would say you're probably pretty early. Even beyond the internet of money. There are many who will argue that Bitcoin is simply a store of value, and others will say that its monetary properties make it something more like a gold 2.0. And others will say that the sovereignty, the ability to truly own your own wealth and that no government can touch it or take it from you is a thing that gives it value. And my point is there's many reasons from many different people why Bitcoin has value. And we didn't even touch the fascinating and incredible history of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was released to the world in January 2009 by an anonymous programmer called Satoshi Nakamoto. Maybe a person, maybe a group of people, we don't know. We still don't know. What we do know is that the code and the ideas within were the culmination of many years of research in cryptography, computer science, economics, game theory, and it all came together in this one form, Bitcoin. And so in closing, I'll paraphrase Satoshi Nakamoto and say if you're not sure and you're still not convinced, well, I don't know what else I can do except answer the 3 questions promised at the beginning. What is Bitcoin? It is digital money in the form of a ledger that tracks an asset called Bitcoin. And you can't mess with that ledger because it's protected by the world's largest supercomputer by over 1 million times. Why do people all over the world think Bitcoin has value? Because it has a use case, which is the internet. If you think there's any value in moving money across the world as quickly and efficiently as sending texts or other kinds of information, then that's the value. And 3, what does this title mean? Well, at this point, it should make perfect sense, or I should say perfect sats. To continue your Bitcoin journey, visit drOrangePill.com/rabbit hole. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, dare I say comment? Be kind, Orange Pill the world.